boy, here we go again. Okay, so as we all know, I've really loved Reira's character up until this point. So when I saw in the episode trailer that it looked like this would be a Reira-centric episode, I was getting really excited. Then I saw it, and this is by no means a Reira-centric episode. However, there is good Reira stuff in it. But for now, let's start with this episode begins, because this episode goes to a lot of places in a lot of different ways I wasn't quite expecting. First up, the, for lack of a better term, and in some ways quite literally, cliffhanger that last week's episode left off on, Yugioh realizing Yuri. It ultimately goes nowhere. First up, why are they letting Yugioh out of the stadium? I thought these people were being held against their will. Now they're just letting everyone out, practically just go on a Starbucks run. I literally just let him go after Yugioh, Yuri. And also, how do they not realize this kid is there? Roger is supposed to be keeping track of everything. But whatever, I'm not gonna lie, it is cool finally hearing the Fusion Dragon's name, which I don't remember right now off the top of my head, I don't feel like looking up. But that was sort of cool to get a name. I imagine we'll get our first couple pictures, maybe the card, maybe its effect, as I believe it's the cover card to the next set after Shining Victories, but granted is still a long ways away, but yeah, I kind of think it's just better to get that card out of the way and get it over with. I sort of felt weird, because last time we saw Yuri, he was doing a very devilish Yugioh type voice, because it's the same actor. Here he was just doing Yugioh's voice. I don't know if like maybe the actor had scheduling conflicts, and they had to really get the scene in quick, but I thought you could have done a little bit more there. I do think it's funny, though, when he jumps on the boat, and Yugioh just goes, "That's cheating." A part of me always feels that in a chase scene, when someone does do something like that, I feel like that would be a normal person's reaction, just like, no fair, we had a chase. So that was fine. Again, don't know why Yugioh's now running loose across the city. I assume that's just going to go nowhere and he'll just be back in time for the duel. That was fine. Then we get into the Reira stuff, which felt very much... Definitely a lot of it felt like it was just trying to get to the 24-minute mark. First up, aren't all the security guards supposed to be mind-controlled slaves right now? Why do all these guys have dialogue? Why do they all have this and that? I thought it was actually interesting seeing Selena about to go on to the elevator and having a smile on her face. Part of it, you could make the argument, is she knows that this is all almost over, so at most she's just got to waste a day or two. But another part of me thinks that could have been an interesting avenue to go down. What if for her the idea of going to this place sounds interesting or exciting? You know, maybe something dark, sort of that twistedness going on in her that is supposed to be there, that we're not talking about. Instead, we're just doing this tsundere bullshit. I thought you could have gone down that route. But then it just sort of gets into the security guys drug her, nerve gas her, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who sort of had like a rape joke in their head when that was going on, so I won't make one here, but it looked like that. And then Reira comes to save her. I'm not against Reira saving her. In fact, I'm not going to lie, there is something, even though, don't get me wrong, this was all the stars had to be aligned duel to work, it was still kind of cool and kind of badass watching this little kid do all the summoning techniques we've seen Reiji do, and be able to just beat these bad guys. So I'm not going to lie, when he did beat them, I did hate them because of what they were saying. I just thought that you didn't really need to go to that hate direction. You could have just gotten the duel over with. And I am glad it didn't shit around. Like, it just got right down to it. It was to show off Reira's deck and what he can do in its full entirety now that we have the full context of the character. And I liked it. I just thought maybe we could have gone a bit more emotional. Like, we could have gone darker. I thought they were going to draw parallels between him and Selena. I really liked the scene where we saw, like, Reira almost watching, like, duel video or something. They brainwash him or get him out of brainwashing. I don't know what that meant, but it was just so creepy because we didn't really know what was going on. And there are scenes I like in this, and there's some good visual metaphors to, I think, where this character's going. I love how every time he's summoned, just for a flash of a second, his pupils would thin out and get really small. There was something almost inhuman about it, something very interesting. I believe that is set up for more with this character in the future. I like the fact that while he's brave, the actor is still playing it, or actress, like he is scared. Like there's this sense that he's doing this because he feels he has to. He doesn't really feel confident about it yet, which I think is very realistic. And I also love the fact that there's still some Reiji manipulation going on here. You could make the argument that he sent Reira out as the last resort to get Serena out before Roger could do something, but then you think about it, like, it's still manipulating a little kid. And I like the fact that Reiji can just beat all these security guards. I like that it's clearly obviously playing into his plans as everything he does is. I like that the security council people do question it, even though I don't know why they're still listening to either of these lunatics. But whatever, that was fine. I'm glad to know the security stuff is over and we can just move on to the rest of this arc without the filler. The Roger scenes in this were kind of ultimately pointless. Again, reinforcing the Serena plotline from last episode only proved how useless it was. Not showing that he's mad at Yugioh really meant nothing or that he knows anything about the Yuya's situation. And also just sort of, now I'm just at the point where Reiji's playing him like a puppet. Reiji's just trying to find the right opportunity to take control, and you know that's probably going to be during the duel between Yuya and Jack in 5 or 6 episodes. So I do feel that this arc is starting to drag on a bit. But I am still curious to see what happens next. The episode preview looks interesting, not for the fact that Yuya's under mind control. And also, can someone explain to me how they apparently got the chip in this kid's head, opened his head up, and put a chip in him over the course of, what, an hour and a half? And I still don't get why the semifinals need to happen at night. Maybe just they're going to try and do some cool that visual imagery. But even at that, again, the style over substance answer, at this point, Yugioh cannot get away with, at least as far as the plot lines go. But overall, was this episode bad? Not really. It just wasn't what I was expecting, and it just didn't go, I thought, in enough interesting directions. It's set up for the next duel and the next round, and I understand that, and I know that's necessary, and you do need to do it to keep track of everything. I just thought maybe you could have done a little more interesting things, especially with such an interesting character like Reira. But I do feel it is set up for what comes next with this kid. And I am glad we did see what we did see. I just thought things could have been a little bit more airtight, maybe holding over some of that bad writing from last week. But what did you think? In the comment section below, give me your thoughts. And it's time for the TCG question of the week. Now, an interesting thing happened in the OCG. Over the past weekend, a top winning deck at a tournament was Burning Abyss Speedroids. That is cool. The idea of that deck winning is just awesome to me, and I'm curious, what crazy, archetype combos have you ever done? Have you ever done Shadow Clowns? Okay, that's not that crazy because that was meta. Have you ever done, I remember there was one, Artifact Burning Abyss or something I heard about once. I don't remember a lot, but if you've got any, give them in the comment section below. And as always, click to like and click to subscribe, and to you all, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Okay, I'll do this again before New Year's, but you get my point.